Mina drives down the road when she notices something scary. The straight highway starts to fade away. She ends up in a strange forest, and her phone signal fizzles out like a dying ember, and her car loses power, stalling on a narrow path. Faced with this unexpected situation, she gets out with her parrot, calling for help.
Hello? My car broke down, I need some help!
But the forest swallows her voice, leaving an eerie silence that sends chills down her spine. Unaware she's in a blind spot on the map, her anxiety grows. When she decides to head back to her car, she's horrified to find it has disappeared. Without warning, a swarm of bats swoops down, but she narrowly dodges them. The ground trembles beneath her, and a chilling scream pierces the air, making her heart race as a shadow darts past. She chases after it, discovering an old woman with white hair. Just as Mina is about to ask her something, the woman bolts away, and Mina instinctively follows her to a bunker-like building. Mina finds herself trapped in the forest at night. The woman opens the door, urging her to come in.
If you care for your life, you're going to have to run.
Mina steps inside as the woman quickly slams the door behind her. Inside, she spots two other people who are also stuck, Sierra and a man named Daniel. And the old woman is Madeline. They explain that this house is called the coupe, and they feel like birds trapped inside. They have to stay here because when night falls, a terrifying creature known only as the Watchers hunt them. They can only stay safe by following strict rules, or the Watchers will break in. Just then, Madeline gathers everyone to line up. The Watchers are near, and always stalking its new prey. There's a one-way mirror that lets the Watchers observe them better. Mina spends the night sitting by the mirror, feeling its presence, until the first light of dawn finally breaks. As soon as the sun rises, she can't wait to escape, and the others don't try to stop her. Mina realizes she can't escape this forest at all. She keeps moving toward the sun until she reaches a mountaintop, only to find endless mountains and woods stretching out before her. Madeline finds the discouraged Mina and tells her that everyone has tried to escape, but all have failed. This forest plays tricks on the mind, causing hallucinations and even madness. The signs they see form a hunting circle around the coupe, each sign exactly half a day's journey away. As long as they stay within this area, they might return to the coupe before dark. If they go beyond it, they'll never make it back. The person who set up these signs is called the Professor. The next day, Sierra takes Mina out to search for food and mentions her husband John, who disappeared 6 days ago while searching for a way out. Sierra cautiously leads Mina to a hidden cave. These caves are scattered throughout the forest, each one seemingly linked in a vast underground network. It's said that the Watchers dwell below, terrified of sunlight and only emerging under the cover of darkness. To survive, everyone must follow the deadly rules.
Do not turn your back to the mirror.
Don't open the door after dark. Don't go near the caves.
Always stay in the light.
They insist that as long as they obey these rules, the Watchers will let them live. Mina seems skeptical and wants to test if the Watchers are real. That night, she stands in front of the mirror, knocking on the surface and listening intently. But there's no sound outside. She turns her back to the mirror and sits on the couch. Suddenly, angry banging comes from outside.
Hold still, Mina. Just let them see you.
But Mina remains determined. She decides to go hunting with Daniel, hoping to learn more about Madeline and the Watchers. However, Daniel only knows that Madeline used to teach at a university and has no insights about the Watchers. They both share doubts about her. They find a cave and prepare to gear up to explore. As Daniel lowers Mina with a rope, she discovers many items inside, some dating back to the 1990s. Among them, she finds an old camera and a rusty bicycle. She urges Daniel to pull the items up, but just then, Mina suddenly hears strange voices behind her.
I rock them.
Afterward, Madeline asks Mina where she found those items. Mina casually claims she discovered them under a big rock. Meanwhile, Daniel's fixing the monitor and realizes that the professor must have created some power source, allowing them to use electronic devices here. They decide to place the camera outside to catch a glimpse of the Watchers. Soon after night falls, there's a knock at the door. The surveillance feed shows a person standing outside, but no human could survive out there at night. Who could it be? Suddenly, they hear John's desperate voice calling for help. Sierra panics and rushes to open the door, but Madeline stops her, warning that it could be a trap set by the Watchers. Ignoring the rules, Sierra is only focused on rescuing her husband. Madeline tries to reason with her, suggesting the use of private couple's secret to verify if the person outside is really John. They quickly realize the figure outside isn't him. They instruct the fake John to pick up the camera and show his face, wanting to see who he truly is. It's really John. How can this be? Just then, the camera outside suddenly gets damaged, and the connection to the TV gets cut off. The watchers become furious, and the pounding echo all around them. Madeline steps in front of everyone, bracing for impact as the mirrors seem ready to shatter. Suddenly, everything outside goes quiet, giving them a momentary reprieve. The next day, Madeline learns the truth. Mina broke the rules. In a panic, she hurls everything they found into the cave, hoping Mina will realize the rules matter. Mina simply nods but doesn't truly agree. Every day, she goes out to mark trees and draws the paths she's taken all over the floor in the room, refusing to abandon on her escape plan. However, Mina isn't the only one looking to break the rules. One day, she and Sierra discover that Daniel has tied up Madeline.
Untie me, Daniel.
But Daniel ignores her and turns away. As night falls around him, Mina rushes to free Madeline while Sierra chases after Daniel. When Mina and Madeline return to the coupe, Daniel refuses to let them in. With nightfall upon them, they have no choice but to hide under a rotting tree to mask their scent. Suddenly, a massive claw looms over them. Madeline quickly covers Mina's mouth, and miraculously they go unnoticed. In that moment, they finally catch a glimpse of the monstrous creatures lurking in the dark. Mina trembles in fear at the sound of a distant roar. More monsters are closing in on the house. Inside, Sierra and Daniel stand in front of the mirror, telling the watcher that Mina and Madeline are not in the room. The watchers disperse to search for them. Nearby, the two see everything unfold and knock on the door again. After Mina's convincing words, Daniel finally opens it. Madeline is furious at Daniel's stupidity, but before she can blow up, the watchers appear. The four of them line up in front of the mirror, and Madeline starts to share her story. She had willingly entered the forest, driven by her curiosity as a folklore expert. But then she saw an incomplete version of herself and realized these ancient beings can replicate human genes, creating perfect human-like bodies. The coupe helps them observe and learn faster, which is why the monsters don't kill them but also refuse to let them go. The four are trapped in the coupe, listening to knocking outside while hissing growls surround them. The door shakes violently, and they can just brace it with a table. Suddenly, they notice a hidden door under the carpet. Daniel finds a heavy object and smashes one corner open, revealing another hidden door. He twists a valve and lifts the manhole cover, discovering a basement below. They quickly crawl inside just as the glass in the room shatters. In the basement, they find plenty of food and signs of previous occupant. They boot up a computer and discover video archives. It's all the professor's research. Through the recordings, they learn that the Watchers can replicate humans, and the professor had close contact with a special Watcher. Over time, he realized he was losing his humanity and planned to kill the special Watcher before ending his own life. And he left a boat by marker 134 for anyone who might escape. He urges viewers who finds this to delete all his research when they get out. Coincidentally, Mina has a parrot, hinting they can escape. The next day, they set out, following the clues to find marker 134. The monsters are about to burst out, so Mina quickly releases the parrot. They follow its guidance, running frantically until they reach the riverbank just as dusk falls. Thrilled by the view, they spot the boat left by the professor. But as they prepare to launch it, Daniel suddenly goes missing. It turns out that just moments ago, kind-hearted Daniel heard John's cries for help and paused in his tracks. He drags the injured John to the shore, only to realize it's a Watcher in disguise. The Watcher brutally attacks Daniel with its claws. Soon after, a group of Daniels emerges on the shore, leaving them unable to cross the river, forever trapped in the forest. Meanwhile, Mina and the others drift through the night and finally escape the mysterious forest. But they all bear psychological scars, seeing monsters everywhere. Later, Mina visits the professor's university to find research on fairies. She learns that they were once winged beings coexisting with humans and even had offspring. But the emergence of these mixed-blood half-fairies changed everything. They had no wings but human bodies, and they possessed a genetic mutation that granted them the ability to replicate. This ability frightened humans, leading to suspicion and hunting that slowly wiped out the half-fairies. Those who survived were forced to hide underground, eventually devolving into terrifying Watchers. The Watchers now harbor a deep hatred for humanity and seek revenge. Just as Mina prepares to destroy the research, Mina suddenly realizes something terrifying. She rushes to Sierra and shows her the pictures of the professor with his wife. To her shock, she recognizes that the professor's wife is none other than Madeline, who escaped with them. But the professor's wife is dead, which means the Madeline they know is actually a Watcher. The professor must have transformed her to resemble his wife, and her special ability allows her to move freely during the day. Determined to send her back to the forest, Mina prepares to confront her. Just then, a car pulls up, and out steps Sierra. Mina quickly realizes that the person in front of her isn't the real one but Madeline in disguise. Before she can react, it's already too late. As Sierra enters the house, the Watcher morphs into John's form and appears behind her. Sensing danger, Mina tries to escape but is grabbed and thrown to the ground. The Watcher approaches her, revealing its intent to study humans more closely. Once shunned by its kind, it had hoped the professor would help it escape the forest, only to find he wanted to kill it instead. Losing trust in humanity, it decides to take Mina's form, preparing to strangle her. In a moment of desperation, Mina mentions that it can walk in sunlight and knows the secret to leaving the forest. The Watcher hesitates and releases her. Mina explains it is a hybrid born of a human and a Watcher. This makes it more than just a Watcher. It's an undegenerated half-fairy, which is why it feels out of place among its kind. After spending time with humans, it has developed some humanity. If it clings to hate, it will remain a Watcher. But if it embraces love and forgiveness, it can be an fairy. Mina's words resonate, and it begins to let go of its obsession. With a roar, Madeline sprouts a pair of wings, revealing herself as a pure-blooded winged fairy, a return to her ancestral form. She soars into the sky, flying away as Mina watches in awe. After everything goes down, Madeline can shapeshift into anyone, racing against time to find her real crew. That's the wrap. This film is called The Watchers. It's a great watch, so make sure to check out the original. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.